Good morning, and welcome to our lecture on negotiating in a virtual world from a Canadian perspective. Canada's vast geography, multicultural society with 22% visible minorities, and reliance on technology make virtual negotiations a critical skill, especially post-2020 with remote work's rise. Today, we'll explore how negotiation principles adapt to digital platforms, focusing on the place-time model, communication orientation, and cultural nuances. Our goal is to equip you with strategies to navigate virtual negotiations in Canada's technology, resource, and finance sectors. We'll examine how Canada's collaborative ethos, shaped by the Multiculturalism Act, influences virtual communication, as seen in cross-country trade talks. Theoretical frameworks, like medium richness, and practical tools, like secure platforms, will guide our discussion, alongside case studies like the 2020 Canada post-virtual labour negotiation. Canada's history of long-distance collaboration, from coast-to-coast resource deals to Indigenous consultations, makes it a compelling case study. By the end, you'll understand how to build trust, manage biases, and achieve equitable outcomes in virtual settings, ensuring success in Canada's interconnected economy. Let's begin by exploring the place-time model in Canadian virtual negotiations. Let's explore the place-time model in Canadian virtual negotiations, per Schwab et al., 2012. This model categorizes interactions by location and timing, same place/same time, same place/different time, different place/same time, and different place/different time. Virtual negotiations often fall into different place categories, like teleconferences between Toronto and Vancouver, same time, or shared cloud documents between Montreal and Calgary, different time. Medium richness, the information carrying capacity, ranges from rich, face-to-face, with verbal and non-verbal cues, to lean, email, text-based, per Wellens, 1989. In Canada's resource sector, high-stakes negotiations, like pipeline deals, favor richer mediums like video conferencing to build trust, while routine updates use leaner mediums. Canada's vast geography, spanning 5,500 kilometers, necessitates virtual tools for cross-country collaboration, as in interprovincial trade talks. Choosing the right medium enhances trust and information exchange, critical in Canada's multicultural society. For students, mastering this model is key. Consider a tech negotiation between Vancouver and Halifax. Selecting a rich medium like Zoom ensures rapport, reflecting Canada's collaborative ethos. Challenges include information loss, but strategic medium selection mitigates risks. As we transition, we'll examine interaction modes in depth, exploring their impact on Canadian negotiations. Continuing our discussion, let's examine interaction modes in Canadian virtual negotiations, per Schwab et al., 2012. Same place, same time, or face-to-face negotiation, fosters trust and rapport through interpersonal synchrony, critical in Canada's resource and finance sectors, like oil negotiations in Alberta. This mode builds long-term cooperation, as in initial meetings for Indigenous land claims, per Fisher et al., 2011. However, Canada's vast geography often makes face-to-face impractical, requiring virtual alternatives like Zoom for different place, same-time interactions. These alternatives replicate some richness, conveying tone and visuals, but lack physical presence, impacting trust building. Frequency of face-to-face meetings depends on location. Toronto-Montreal negotiations may allow in-person meetings, while Vancouver-Whitehorse talks rely on virtual platforms. Canada's collaborative ethos, rooted in the Multiculturalism Act, emphasizes trust, making medium choice critical. For students, understanding interaction modes is essential. Consider a finance negotiation between Calgary and Ottawa, initial face-to-face meetings, followed by virtual follow-ups, ensure trust, reflecting Canada's cooperative culture. Challenges include replicating rapport virtually, but rich mediums mitigate risks. As we transition, we'll explore the communication orientation model, examining its role in virtual negotiations. Following interaction modes, let's explore the communication orientation model in Canadian virtual negotiations, per Schwab et al., 2012. This model highlights how sight, sound, and synchronicity influence outcomes. Visual cues, like facial expressions on Zoom, enhance trust building, critical in Canada's multicultural negotiations involving 22% visible minorities. Synchronous communication, like teleconferences, fosters rapport through real-time interaction, as in interprovincial trade talks. Asynchronous modes, like email or shared documents, offer flexibility for different time negotiations, common in Canada's vast time zones. Aligning the medium with the relationship type, cooperative or competitive, ensures effective outcomes, per Nukin et al., 2000. In Canada's resource sector, cooperative relationships favor richer mediums, while transactional deals use leaner ones. This model is critical for navigating Canada's diverse business landscape, from tech in Toronto to mining in Nunavut. For students, mastering this model is key. Consider a negotiation between Vancouver and Montreal. Synchronous Zoom calls build trust, while asynchronous documents ensure flexibility, reflecting Canada's collaborative ethos. Challenges include cue loss in lean mediums, but strategic alignment mitigates risks. As we transition, we'll explore psychological distancing, examining its impact on virtual negotiations. Building on communication orientation, let's examine the psychological distancing model in Canadian virtual negotiations, per Wellens, 1989. Virtual mediums increase psychological distance, reducing empathy and rapport due to limited nonverbal cues, unlike face-to-face settings. Lean mediums, like email, exacerbate this, carrying only text, as in routine business updates. This impacts Canada's multicultural negotiations, where cultural nuances, like Indigenous storytelling or Quebec's relational focus, rely on cues. Strategies to bridge distance include using richer mediums like Zoom for initial trust building and transparent communication, sharing clear data, per Fisher et al., 2011. In Canada's resource sector, like pipeline negotiations, transparency mitigates mistrust. Building trust is critical in Canada's diverse context, with 20% foreign-born residents, requiring cultural sensitivity. For students, mastering this model is essential. Consider a negotiation between Calgary and Toronto. Using Zoom for initial meetings and transparent data sharing ensures rapport, reflecting Canada's collaborative ethos. Challenges include empathy loss, but richer mediums and transparency mitigate risks. As we transition, we'll explore virtual trust-building strategies, examining their role in Canada. Following psychological distancing, let's explore virtual trust-building strategies in Canadian negotiations, per Nukin et al., 2000. Using rich mediums like Zoom for initial meetings conveys nonverbal cues, fostering trust, as in Indigenous land claim talks. Transparent communication, sharing data openly, builds credibility, critical in Canada's resource sector, like the 2019 Wet'suwet'en pipeline negotiations. Leveraging cultural sensitivity, respecting diverse norms like Indigenous holistic approaches, ensures inclusivity, aligning with the Multiculturalism Act. Regular check-ins, via synchronous calls, maintain rapport across Canada's time zones. Using secure platforms, like encrypted data rooms, protects sensitive information, vital in finance negotiations. Fostering long-term relationships, through consistent engagement, reflects Canada's cooperative ethos. With 22% visible minorities, cultural competence is key. For students, mastering trust building is essential. Consider a tech negotiation between Vancouver and Ottawa. Zoom meetings and secure platforms ensure trust, reflecting Canada's inclusive culture. Challenges include cultural misunderstandings, but transparency mitigates risks. As we transition, we'll explore cultural influences in virtual negotiations, examining their role in Canada. Continuing our discussion, let's examine cultural influences in Canadian virtual negotiations, per Fisher et al., 2011. Canada's multicultural society, with 22% visible minorities, shapes communication norms, requiring sensitivity to diverse styles. Indigenous traditions, emphasizing relationships and the 7 generations principle, favor rich mediums like Zoom to convey respect, as in land claim talks. Quebec's formalities, rooted in French heritage, require structured virtual agendas, differing from English Canada's directness. Adapting communication to cultural styles, like indirect Asian Canadian approaches, ensures effective dialogue, critical in Toronto's tech sector. Ensuring inclusivity in virtual settings, through diverse representation, aligns with the Multiculturalism Act. Canada's collaborative ethos demands culturally sensitive virtual strategies. For students, understanding cultural influences is key. Consider a negotiation between Montreal and Vancouver. Respecting Quebec's formalities and Indigenous norms via Zoom ensures equitable outcomes, reflecting Canada's inclusive culture. Challenges include cultural missteps, but sensitivity mitigates risks. As we transition, we'll explore technology selection, examining its role in virtual negotiations. Following cultural influences, let's explore technology selection for Canadian virtual negotiations, per Schwab et al., 2012. Choosing platforms based on medium richness aligns with negotiation needs. Zoom for synchronous, rich interactions conveys nonverbal cues, ideal for trust building in resource negotiations. Email suits asynchronous updates, like routine project reports, common in Canada's finance sector. Secure data rooms protect sensitive information, critical in high-stakes deals like pipeline talks. Cloud tools, like Google Drive, enable collaboration across Canada's time zones, as in interprovincial trade negotiations. Aligning technology with goals, such as trust in cooperative deals or efficiency in transactional ones, ensures success, per Rafa et al., 2002. Canada's advanced tech infrastructure supports these strategies. For students, mastering technology selection is essential. Consider a negotiation between Calgary and Halifax. Zoom for initial meetings and secure data rooms for contracts ensure trust, reflecting Canada's collaborative ethos. Challenges include technical issues, but robust platforms mitigate risks. As we transition, we'll explore managing psychological biases, examining their impact in virtual settings. Building on technology selection, let's examine managing psychological biases in Canadian virtual negotiations, per Rafa et al., 2002. Virtual settings amplify biases due to reduced cues. Confirmation bias, seeking data supporting preconceptions, can skew perceptions, as in trade negotiations. Mitigating anchoring effects, where initial offers overly influence outcomes, requires clear data sharing, critical in Canada's finance sector. Countering attribution errors, misjudging intentions due to limited nonverbal cues, demands transparent communication, as in Indigenous talks. Structured decision-making, using data-driven frameworks, ensures objectivity, per Fisher et al., 2011. Transparent communication, sharing all relevant information, fosters trust in Canada's multicultural context. Fostering objective analysis aligns with Canada's principled negotiation ethos. For students, managing biases is key. Consider a tech negotiation between Toronto and Vancouver. Structured frameworks and transparency reduce biases, ensuring equitable outcomes, reflecting Canada's collaborative culture. Challenges include misinterpretations, but data-driven approaches mitigate risks. As we transition, we'll explore virtual team dynamics, examining their role in Canada. Following psychological biases, let's explore virtual team dynamics in Canadian negotiations, Pernukin et al., 2000. Clear roles and responsibilities prevent confusion in virtual settings, critical in Canada's resource negotiations across time zones. Fostering team cohesion through virtual team building, like informal Zoom sessions, builds trust, as in interprovincial talks. Regular check-ins, via synchronous platforms, ensure alignment, vital in multicultural teams with 22% visible minorities. Leveraging diverse expertise, from Indigenous to corporate perspectives, enhances outcomes, as in land claim negotiations. Managing communication gaps, due to lean mediums, requires structured protocols, per Schwab et al., 2012. Aligning with Canada's collaborative ethos, rooted in the Multiculturalism Act, ensures inclusive dynamics. For students, mastering virtual team dynamics is essential. Consider a negotiation between Ottawa and Edmonton. Clear roles and regular check-ins ensure cohesion, reflecting Canada's cooperative culture. Challenges include virtual miscommunication, but structured processes mitigate risks. As we transition, we'll explore virtual mediation strategies, examining their role in Canada. Continuing our discussion, let's examine virtual mediation strategies in Canadian negotiations, per Fisher et al., 2011. Using neutral virtual mediators ensures impartiality, critical in contentious talks like labor disputes. Conducting private caucus sessions via secure platforms allows confidential discussions, as in the 2020 Canada Post negotiation. Leveraging digital tools, like shared dashboards, ensures fairness by providing equal access to data, vital in Canada's resource sector. Fostering open dialogue through rich mediums like Zoom builds trust, aligning with Canada's mediation preference over litigation. Ensuring equitable outcomes reflects the Multiculturalism Act's inclusive ethos. With Canada's collaborative culture, mediation is key in virtual settings. For students, mastering mediation is essential. Consider a labor negotiation in Toronto. Neutral mediators and secure caucuses ensure equitable outcomes, reflecting Canada's cooperative ethos. Challenges include virtual mistrust, but rich mediums mitigate risks. As we transition, we'll explore a case study on the Canada Post-Labor negotiation, applying these strategies. Let's apply our concepts to the 2020 Canada Post-Virtual Labor negotiation case, a landmark in Canadian virtual negotiations. The issue was a contentious labor dispute, requiring virtual platforms due to remote work constraints, per Fisher et al., 2011. Actions included using Zoom for synchronous discussions and secure data rooms for confidential data sharing, ensuring transparency. A skilled virtual mediator facilitated private caucuses, while intentional humor diffused tension, fostering rapport. The outcome was a new collective agreement without a strike, a significant achievement. Transparency via secure platforms built trust, critical in Canada's labor sector. This case showcases virtual tools as extensions of human skills, aligning with Canada's collaborative ethos. Challenges included virtual mistrust and technical issues, but rich mediums and mediation mitigated risks. For students, this case highlights virtual strategy. Consider a similar negotiation in Ontario's education sector. Zoom and secure platforms ensure equitable outcomes, reflecting Canada's cooperative culture. As we transition, we'll explore a resource sector case study, examining virtual dynamics. Following the Canada Post case, let's examine a virtual resource negotiation case in Canada's pipeline sector, Pirouzi et al., 2000. The issue involved a pipeline deal across provinces, engaging government, Indigenous, and industry stakeholders virtually due to geographic distance. Actions included Zoom for synchronous trust building and cloud tools like Google Drive for collaborative document editing, ensuring transparency. Cultural sensitivity, respecting Indigenous long-term perspectives, was critical, per the Multiculturalism Act. The outcome was revised agreements balancing economic and environmental goals, fostering trust. Transparency via secure platforms mitigated mistrust, common in resource talks. This case highlights virtual tools' role in Canada's diverse landscape. Challenges included cultural and technical barriers, but rich mediums and sensitivity ensured success. For students, this case underscores cultural competence in virtual settings. Consider a similar negotiation in Alberta. Zoom and cloud tools ensure equitable outcomes, reflecting Canada's reconciliation goals. As we transition, we'll explore ethical considerations, examining their role in virtual negotiations. Continuing our exploration, let's examine ethical considerations in Canadian virtual negotiations, per Rafa et al., 2002. Ensuring transparency in communication, like sharing data openly on secure platforms, builds trust, as in finance negotiations. Protecting sensitive data, using encrypted tools, maintains confidentiality, critical in Canada's tech sector. Respecting cultural values, like Indigenous or Quebec's relational norms, ensures inclusivity, aligning with the Multiculturalism Act. Adhering to legal frameworks, such as the Canadian Privacy Act, ensures ethical conduct in virtual settings. Fostering trust and integrity strengthens relationships, reflecting Canada's collaborative ethos. With 22% visible minorities, Canada demands ethical virtual negotiations. For students, mastering ethics is essential. Consider a negotiation in Toronto's tech sector. Transparency and data protection ensure equitable outcomes, reflecting Canada's inclusive standards. Challenges include balancing transparency with confidentiality, but legal frameworks guide success. As we transition, we'll explore future trends in virtual negotiations, examining their implications in Canada. Following ethical considerations, let's explore future trends in Canadian virtual negotiations, per Schwab et al., 2012. AI-driven tools, like analytics for decision-making, will enhance strategy, as in predictive models for trade negotiations. Enhanced virtual reality platforms will simulate face-to-face richness, bridging psychological distance in resource talks. Increased cybersecurity focus, using advanced encryption, will protect data, critical in Canada's finance sector. Hybrid models, blending in-person and virtual interactions, will balance trust and efficiency, as in interprovincial deals. Cultural competence, respecting diverse norms, remains critical in Canada's multicultural society. Adapting to Canada's tech advancements, like 5G infrastructure, ensures success. For students, understanding future trends is key. Consider a negotiation in Vancouver's tech sector. AI tools and secure platforms ensure equitable outcomes, reflecting Canada's innovative ethos. Challenges include technology adoption, but cultural sensitivity mitigates risks. As we transition, we'll review our references, providing resources for mastering virtual negotiations. To conclude, let's review the references informing our exploration of virtual negotiations in Canada. Schwab et al., 2012, in the Communication Orientation Model provide insights into how sight, sound, and synchronicity shape outcomes, critical for Canada's virtual landscape. Wellens, 1989, in Effects of Telecommunication Media offers the psychological distancing model, explaining virtual challenges. Fisher et al., 2011, in Getting to Yes outline principled negotiation, adaptable to virtual settings. Nooken et al., 2000, in Beyond Winning emphasize value creation, vital for Canada's cooperative ethos. Rafa et al., 2002, in Negotiation analysis provide data-driven strategies, enhancing virtual planning. For students, these sources offer a foundation for navigating Canada's virtual negotiations. Explore them to master medium selection, trust building, and cultural competence. Consider a negotiation in Alberta's resource sector. Transparency and rich mediums ensure equitable outcomes, reflecting Canada's inclusive culture. Thank you for your attention.